Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to Crime Zone. Authorities in Montgomery County, Maryland say that a would-be burglar's plans came to an embarrassing end this week when he needed to be rescued from the scene of the alleged crime. According to local media, police were called to a home in Silver Spring at around 5:30 a.m. on January 8th with a report of an attempted burglary. When they arrived at the residence, located on the 9000 block of Dameron Drive, they discovered that the suspect had gotten himself stuck in the home's chimney after allegedly trying to use it to gain access to the property. More than 24 firefighters were reportedly called to the scene to assist with rescuing the suspect. Even then, it apparently took the firefighters over 90 minutes to pull him out, as they had to break open a large section of the wall inside of the home and take apart the chimney brick by brick. When the man was finally pulled out, he was taken to the hospital due to injuries he sustained while stuck inside. At the time of this recording, the suspect has not been identified by name, and it's unclear if he has yet been charged in connection with the incident. It's said that he currently remains in the hospital. Authorities in Effingham County, Georgia say that they have recaptured an inmate this week, several days after he was able to escape from a local jail due to a computer error that left his cell door unlocked. According to reports, the incident took place on the night of January 3rd, when officials at the Effingham County Jail believed that 32-year-old Kevin David Lennox Wilson was locked in his jail cell for the night. What they didn't know, however, was that while Wilson was indeed inside his cell, he was not, in fact, locked inside. Authorities say that they now believe on this particular night a computer glitch, likely caused by recent storms in the area, had caused the lock on Wilson's cell door to malfunction, meaning that he could open it at will. Shortly after 8 p.m., Wilson allegedly took advantage of this situation, leaving his cell and somehow gaining access to an unsecured area of the jail where he was soon able to escape from the facility altogether. It's not entirely clear how he was able to do this, but representatives from the Effingham County Sheriff's Office have since admitted that some amount of human error was involved. Wilson's escape wasn't uncovered until the following morning, during a routine inmate head count just after 7 a.m. It was then that a manhunt was started to track him down. Though police canine units were able to pick up Wilson's scent near the jail, they soon lost his trail, suggesting that he had been picked up by an accomplice following his escape. He would stay on the run until Thursday night, when he was tracked to a hotel in Savannah, approximately 30 miles south of where he had escaped. According to reports, Wilson was originally arrested in October of 2020 for a slew of offenses related to a traffic stop and police chase. Charges against him in that incident include willful obstruction, possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies, drug trafficking, reckless driving, and fleeing or attempting to elude police. He was further indicted in August of 2021 on 3 counts of malice murder and 1 count each of felony murder, aggravated assault, armed robbery, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, in relation to a murder that took place in May of 2020 in Savannah. Investigators believe that Wilson was involved in the killing of 28-year-old Vincent Smalls Jr., who was found shot to death in the 2300 block of Pine Tree Road. At the time of this recording, Wilson remains in police custody. A tragic scene reportedly played out in the city of Hazelhurst, Mississippi this week, where a local police officer responded to a fatal shooting, only to discover that her own son was the victim. According to local media, the nightmare began for Officer LaQuandia Cooley in the early morning hours of January 2nd, when she and other officers responded to a call about a shooting on Larkin Street. It was only after Cooley arrived at the scene that she found out that her son, 20-year-old Charles Stewart Jr., was the person who had been shot. Charles was reportedly shot in the head and had already died by the time his mother got there. Understandably, Cooley told local media that she immediately broke down at the scene and was initially unable to process what had happened. Charles's father also said he could not believe that his son had been murdered, and that he was a good person who got along with everyone. At the time of this recording, little else is known about the case or what might have motivated the terrible crime. The chief of Hazelhurst Police, Darian Murray, says that since the case involves an officer's family member, it will be handed over to the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Representatives from the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department say that an overeager music fan has been arrested this week after he allegedly faked a bomb threat to skip the line at an outdoor concert. According to reports, the incident took place at around 5 p.m. on January 8th, as crowds of concertgoers were starting to enter the area where the free outdoor event was being held near Monument Circle. The event had been scheduled as part of a weekend of festivities leading up to the College Football Playoff National Championship, and was set to include musical acts such as famous rapper Doja Cat. Because the outdoor concert offered free admission, it obviously attracted thousands of spectators, and space in the audience was offered on a first-come, first-served basis. While most people who wanted a good view of the concert thus likely arrived extremely early to get in line, one man allegedly decided that he would take a different and highly illegal approach. According to police, once in line, he started telling people close to him that he had a bomb in his backpack in order to persuade them to leave the area. Unfortunately for the man, this plan backfired when some of the people who had heard his threats began to inform the police. Though the area was reportedly cleared for roughly 20 minutes, authorities were able to search the suspect's backpack and confirm that he was not in possession of any weapons or explosive devices. When officers arrested him, they subsequently discovered that there were unrelated outstanding warrants for his arrest. At the time of this recording, the suspect's name has not been released, and it's unclear if any charges have been laid against him. However, one thing is for sure: he definitely did not get to see that concert. Representatives from Pennsylvania's Newberry Township Police Department say that a 19-year-old woman has been arrested this week after a bizarre DUI stop that involved a live deer. According to reports, the incident began sometime around midnight on January 6th, when officers pulled over the 19-year-old suspect somewhere in York County, believing that she might be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Things quickly took a strange turn, however, when upon getting out to question the driver, police noticed what appeared to be a live deer in her car, which was clearly visible through the window of the vehicle's hatchback trunk. When the officers asked the 19-year-old and her 21-year-old male passenger about the animal, they claimed that they had accidentally hit it while driving. After that, they had placed the deer in the trunk, initially thinking it was dead. They said that they later realized the deer was alive, but for some reason, kept on driving. After listening to the story, police officers had the 21-year-old man go into the trunk of the car and release the deer back into the wild. It's unclear if the animal had suffered any injuries, but it apparently was able to run away. The 19-year-old was subsequently arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence. However, her name has not been released at this time. Authorities in New Orleans, Louisiana, say that a would-be mugger recently got more than he bargained for after he assaulted the mother of a teenage powerlifter who proceeded to chase him down and tackle him. According to reports, on December 28th, 18-year-old Messina Tupea was simply enjoying her vacation with her parents when out of nowhere, a man sprinted towards her 47-year-old mother Louisa as the family walked down Magazine Street. Before any of them could react, the man had punched Louisa in the jaw, dislocating it, and tried to steal her purse. Though the attacker soon gave up on his attempt to steal the purse and tried to flee the scene, Messina decided she couldn't let him escape and sprung into action. The teenager managed to catch up to the suspect when he was tripped by a bystander. However, the first time she tried to grab him, he punched her in the face and continued to run away. Undeterred, Messina began pursuing the attacker once again, soon catching up to him in an area where her father was chasing him around a car. After dodging another one of the attacker's punches, she grabbed onto the back of his shirt, then tackled him to the ground. The attacker tried desperately to escape, but it was no use. What the attacker didn't know about Messina is that despite being just 5 feet 5 inches tall, she is extremely strong. A lifelong athlete and avid powerlifter, Messina still holds a record in the sport from when she was 15, when she deadlifted nearly 320 pounds. Messina was able to keep her mother's attacker pinned until police could arrive, at which point he was arrested. The man was subsequently identified as 36-year-old Augustus Taylor, who is now facing 1 charge for purse snatching and 2 others for simple battery. According to reports, Taylor has pleaded guilty to battery charges in New Orleans at least 4 times since 2010. Despite the unfortunate incident, Messina said that she and her family still enjoyed their trip. In interviews with local media, she said, quote, "My parents told me that stuff happens, but you can't let stuff like that affect how you perceive places. Although it sucks it happened to us, we're glad someone like that is off the street." Representatives from the LAPD say that they are investigating the murder of a 41-year-old father and fast food employee this week, a killing that allegedly took place following an argument over a counterfeit $20 bill. According to reports, the incident took place shortly before 11 p.m. on January 8th at a Taco Bell location on Avalon Boulevard in South Los Angeles. It began when an unidentified suspect allegedly tried to pay for his meal at the drive-thru window with a fake $20 bill. The 41-year-old employee working the window, identified as Alejandro Garcia, immediately noticed that the money was counterfeit and, in compliance with Taco Bell's training protocols, refused to accept the $20 bill. This reportedly enraged the suspect so much that he pulled out a handgun and started firing through the window, hitting Alejandro several times. The suspect and an alleged accomplice then fled the scene. By the time police arrived at the restaurant, Alejandro was already dead. It said that another victim within the business was taken to the hospital with stab wounds at the time, though it's unclear how they were injured. The situation was made even more tragic by the fact that Alejandro was reportedly working alongside his 19-year-old son that night, who witnessed the entire event. It said that he died in his son's arms. According to local media, Alejandro was the father of 2 other children, the youngest of whom is 3 years old. Relatives said that he only worked at the Taco Bell location once a week to make extra money for his family. At the time of this recording, almost no information is available about the 2 suspects behind the crime. The LAPD have simply described them as males between 20 and 25 years old. Representatives from Oklahoma's Tulsa Police Department say that they have arrested 2 suspects this week, who they say are responsible for the brutal murder of a 29-year-old woman that was the result of an alleged love triangle. According to reports, authorities uncovered the murder while performing a welfare check at the home of 29-year-old Sarah McGuire around 5 p.m. on January 4th. Upon entering the residence near 28th West Avenue and West 39th Street, officers discovered McGuire's lifeless body in the living room. She had died from apparent blunt force trauma, and her car, as well as other personal belongings, seemed to be missing. The next day, police in Fayetteville, Arkansas, managed to locate McGuire's missing vehicle, which was parked outside of a local Whataburger. Asleep inside the vehicle were 25-year-old Brinley Dennison and 28-year-old Nicholas Johnson, both of whom were arrested and taken in for questioning. During a subsequent interview, Johnson reportedly confessed to carrying out McGuire's murder, sharing numerous details of the chilling crime with investigators. Johnson told detectives that he and Dennison were in an intimate relationship together, but that Dennison had also been involved in a relationship with McGuire, causing him to become jealous. He said that this had been the reason for the murder. According to Johnson, he and Dennison used a crowbar to brutally beat McGuire in her living room, after which they became intimate in her adjacent bedroom. He claimed that while in the bed with Dennison, he could hear McGuire clinging to life just outside. After stealing McGuire's belongings, Johnson said that he and Dennison had taken her car and headed towards Fayetteville. He said that along the way, they threw their bloody clothes out of the window and used McGuire's credit cards to transfer money into their bank accounts. Johnson and Dennison have now both been charged with first-degree murder and larceny of an automobile and are currently in custody at the Washington County Jail in Arkansas, where they are awaiting extradition back to Oklahoma. That's it for this edition of Crimes of the Week. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest releases. Thank you for watching.